Hey everybody, this is an update from Rusted Root Farms. First official day of summer was just a couple days ago, and we're feeling it. It is hot, and I have reacted appropriately by installing a very large ventilator because the other two were just not doing it. The difference in CFM is about quadruple, so when the big guy is on, it's keeping everything nice and cool. We're still trying to grow lettuce in here, so it needs to be as cool as possible. I don't know if we're going to be successful with that. It really just depends on how hot it gets and how tolerant that lettuce is. We're mixing in some Arugula, Pak Choy, a couple other things that I'll show you in a second. But fish are voracious as usual. You guys are growing fast. Got some automatic feeders installed, which allows me to feed them, 4 or 5 times a day during this time of their lives. They really need a good bit of feeding, so I space it out about 4 hours. Every 4 hours or so they'll get fed, and a pretty good amount too. So these little feeders just sit on pipes that I made that go down inside the tanks. Originally I had the feeders inside the tank, but that doesn't work out too well because the moisture inside there tends to disrupt the function of the feeder and cause the food to clump up. So we brought them to the outside and set them on these little pipes. It's not perfect. They spill a little bit, as you can see, but it does its job for the most part. Started mixing in a couple of koi. You can see there's a yellow, very pretty yellow koi right there, and he's at home with everybody else. And then over here are really big guys who are very shy but are always there, always lurking in the back. Those guys are huge now. As far as the plant scene goes, we have been running the DWCs full time now, so even though there's no plants in the big one, we're circulating the water and everything is working like it should. We have the first experimental plants in the system. We've tried all kinds just to kind of see what's going to work, and everything has grown so far. We did have some tomato plants in here, and they were just too big. They actually took over this entire section right here of the DWC. Was just unusable because those tomato plants are so big. So I knew that we weren't really going to be able to do tomatoes anyway because of their demands, and the fact that they're just so big. You usually don't do that sort of thing in a DWC. It would be more for Dutch pots or a media bed, something like that. But over here we've got several species that have grown really good. Some Pak Choy, as I said, the Pak Choy has turned out really well. Some of it extremely well. I don't know why there's such a difference there, but some of it has just rocketed out, and others are taking their time coming out, which is fine. Got some spinaches, arugula. These are all arugulas that we planted from seed, and I'll show you how we kind of raise them up from seed and then get them into the grow grips that we're using. And then some butter crunch, butterhead lettuce is mixed in here as well. All that is doing really good. So lettuce is probably the easiest thing to grow. It has the lowest nutrient requirement, and so far it's worked out really good in this particular system. There's some peppers in here, pretty much just the lettuces though, since that's our target crop. Mixed in a couple more pak choys. So everything's looking real good at this point. As far as the method, we kind of use the grow grip method, which I really like. It involves very little labor, at least until you get to this part. And there's a pretty well documented video on this. The guys who actually designed and market the grow grips can show this to you as well. They're the Aquaponics source people, and Bigelow Farms as well, to give them credit. So anyway, we just start out with a tray of pebbles that have been screened through a 3/8 inch mesh, and sprinkle the seeds onto the rocks. And what I like to do is once the seeds are down on there, we'll take a little squirt bottle and just squirt the water all over the seeds that are exposed, and what that'll do is wash them down into the rocks a little ways. And then we just take a simple empty peanut can like this one and drill a hole in it up there so that the water will come out and set the level, and just set that guy right down in there once it's full of water. And you know, that'll continue to set the level inside the tray, so you don't have to worry about it for a couple of days. These guys right here were planted on Sunday. I'm sorry, probably, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember now. But today is Thursday, and they are already ready to go into the grow grips. And the way that works is we kind of gently take them out of the tray, and you can see the kind of the length of root that we have on this particular plant is really good, especially for 4 days growth, I would say. And that ends up going inside one of these grow grips. So the grow grip clamps the plant. The plant has some root down at the bottom, and we just put that guy down in there and make sure it's pushed down far enough to where the root is in the water, and then we let him grow, and that's it. That's a finished plant right there in terms of growing time to harvest. We're not going to touch it again. It's going to be inside this grow grip, inside this socket, until it's ready to harvest. So it's a really, really great system. I'm really happy with this system. Another way of doing this that we did try and works just fine is, you know, if you don't have the styrofoam or the holes drilled or whatever, you can, for a period of time, just let them go, let them float on top of the water, and that works fine too. So once they get a little bigger, of course, they're going to want to tip over, and that's not going to work really well, so they'll need to eventually go into your styrofoam sockets. But for now, it is a possibility to put them in there just to let them float around for a little while. So anyway, this is where all the labor is right here. You got to take these 500 little plants and they go into the sockets. This greenhouse has I think it ends up being about 1,400 to 1,500 sockets that need to be filled. So, you know, that's a couple of days of labor probably to take all the little plants and seed them. I'm sorry, not seed, put them into the grow grips and get them into the sockets. But anyway, that's part of being a farmer, right? Let's see, I think that's about all the updates we've got for now. Everything else is pretty much the same here at Rested Root. So check back with us. We'll probably do another update within a month or so after these guys have matured and they're ready for harvest. We're a little behind the game since it's a couple days into June now. Would like to have been a little farther along, but you know, life happens, and this is not our full-time job yet, so it has to take backseat to some things. But anyway, we're getting there. So appreciate you watching, and talk to you later.